Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, our card tonight is the Three of Cups. This has everything to do with abundance. Okay, let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. Okay, a beautiful image right off the top here. And let's go ahead and look at that. It looks like we have somebody standing here maybe with a long robe or dress. We have their hair kind of flowing this way. They are standing before somebody who is maybe kneeling or on a lower, maybe on a lower level there. But it does look kind of like kneeling, okay? And it looks like their hand is extended out and touching the head of this person. And I imagine it's something like being blessed. It is something like, anointing the head of. And so I look at this and I think immediately, what a beautiful blessing coming, maybe some kind of absolution, clarity, to conclude some kind of emotional, spiritual matter that has kind of come along with you. And you have reached a point where there has been some deep processing, okay? And we've integrated and processed some more, right? And it is finally at that point where you begin to really, feel absolved of this emotional baggage, of this kind of spiritual burden. Okay, and that's not to say that it's gone, because this is something that it colors the way that you exist, the way that you perceive the world, reality, yourself, the divine. Okay, our experiences do. They do. These are our ordeals. And so we do not forget about them. We do not leave them behind, but we can, like I said, process, integrate. And I feel like this is kind of what's going on. And in this process, we do become fortified, don't we? This is where knowledge obtained through a situation is transmuted into wisdom, okay? And wisdom is the thing. Wisdom is the thing, isn't it? So a beautiful image to start off with. Quite a blessing happening, coming, and this is something, I feel that it has been almost like a core belief, right? Something that we go along in life believing this about ourselves. We did something wrong so many years ago. We made a mistake. It was a misstep. Or maybe we did something out of anger or resentment or, something. And all this time, we carry it with us. We think, I'm always going to be this terrible person. I did this thing. I said this thing. I was not careful with somebody I loved, or, whatever it was. And the interesting thing about growing and experiencing life and then returning back to these old things is that we don't negate ourselves of our responsibility, right? It's not that we look at it and say, I had no active role in this. I could have, I couldn't have chosen any differently. This was not my fault. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But we get older. We've had more experience. We see things from more perspectives. We, maybe gain more information about whatever has gone on. And so then we can look at something, look at our own actions, our own circumstances, maybe with a little ounce of empathy. And that's the key, isn't it? That is the key to open those floodgates of, yes, that absolution. I don't think that very often do we do things just for, just to make other people hurt. We don't do things because we're, bad or evil people. Now, does that happen in the world? Sure, it does. Yeah. But often I think, more than not, these things have roots. And if you are willing to do the work and really look at, why did this happen? How did I find myself here? And what does it mean all these years later? This is where that deep, deep self-work really, you can see the change. Okay? Woo. Nope, you got to come down here, little bub. Come on. Pudgy. Pudgy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Oh, and you got to go take a big jump. There he goes. Good job. Good job. All right. Well, I like to start a reading off like that. That makes me happy to see something like that. Is it easy? No. Is it worth the effort? Yes. Yes, 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 it is. It is. And, these are really the key signs that we see when we know we have really begun that individuation process. Okay, and we've talked about this in other readings, and I think it's something worth looking up. Okay, I talk a lot about Jung. I talk a lot about the concepts, the ideas. I use the jargon, the language that Jungians use. Because I find this system, this certain flavor of mysticism and, psychotherapy, psychology, philosophy, alchemy, hermeticism, whatever all of these things combined. I find this personally very useful. Okay, spiritual alchemy. And so if you want to look up, individuation is what it is called. Okay. And these are key signs when we see we really are facing these difficult parts of self. These things that we would like to forget about, but you know what? They do show up. Have you ever been, startled awake at 3 a.m. thinking, why did I bully that kid, in grade school? I knew his circumstances. I knew what he was going through. And yet I still stood by while everybody else was so cruel to him. And so was I, because that was easier. And it haunts me. These are the kinds of things that come up. And they shape our self-beliefs. And they are things that we have to go back and look at. And no, it's not always about making amends. Okay? Sometimes, yeah. But more often than not, it is about looking at these situations with open eyes, an open heart, and facing those parts of ourselves we absolutely do not want to look at. We all have them. We all have them. And I know sometimes, you know, my titles of these videos, they say jackpot, gold mine, you know, whatever, big win. Well, you know what? If you ask me, little old me, these are the situations that are hitting the jackpot in life. This is where the real work happens. This is where the real wealth is. That's just me. All right, let's take a look. We haven't even turned the bowl yet. No, we're going to do that. I'm going to take a little sip. I'm trying to do it away from the microphone, and I'm sorry if it's a little loud. But as you can hear, I'm still a little sick. And yes, I know I should take a break, but you know what? I have to keep working, you guys. I have to do my readings one way or another. Okay, so let's see. We have we have what looks like a fire dancer. And I just see these old things like kind of coming up. And now we have the Three of Cups, which really is about that emotional abundance. But also, you know, could be passion and creativity and the bravery to really be looking at these things. But I look at this and I want to look really hard here. We have the scene where it kind of looks almost like a grave, okay? And it looks like somebody kind of, or something kind of popping up here. We have a flower here. And then here I see this kind of fiery being, fiery entity, and it looks so big and large and full of that dance, that what is the word? It's ecstatic, right? And we have a person here kind of kneeling and in a worshipful pose. And so I look at this and I think there is a deep communing with your people, with your ancestors, with those who you carry with you and all that you do. And I feel like this is a big part of why you are going through this process of working out karmic debts, okay? But also shadow work is another good name for that. Shadow work. And really facing, again, talking about facing these darker parts of self. The parts of self that we find repugnant. The parts of self that we do not like to admit into our own, forward consciousness. Those parts of self you say, I would never, I can't believe that people do this, or I can't believe they behave this way, or, whatever it is. And often the best way to figure out what are these shadowy parts of self, think about what really bothers you about other people. I mean, things that really get you. And you think about it, I don't like her because she is, and then you put whatever in there. I don't like them because this is what they do, or this is what, this is how they treat whatever it is. Those things that really bother you about other people are usually the things that are pushed away within yourself. And let's be real. If you are somebody like myself, and I truly believe that, I believe in the saying, as above, so below, so within, so without. So we are of the universe, and the universe is of us, right? So we contain all of the universe within ourselves. And we are fully in the universe as well, right? That means that there's not really any disconnect from anything you could imagine in yourself. And that is a horrifying thought, isn't it? That is a big thought. That is something that is hard to fathom. Now, when we're doing the shadow work, it's important that, or any kind of, self work, interior work, it is important to have a balanced routine in your mundane life. Balanced routine, getting good sleep, eating as well as you can, whatever that looks like for you. Doing intentional movement to the level of your ability. Going outside where you can. I know the weather is not agreeable in all parts of the world right now. It's hot, it's cold, rainy, snowy, so on. But to do this other work, we must be on a firm foundation. We have to be that firm foundation. So I look at this and I think, there really is a sense of all of the things kind of coming out. I think you're having some pretty wild dreams right now. I feel like you almost feel plucked out of your normal existence and really focused on some things that almost feel like they're not yours to care for. And yet here you are. And yet here these things are, kind of really affecting you emotionally, psychically, spiritually. And maybe there is something that has turned this on in you. Maybe there is some kind of event that you could really point out and say, this is what's going on. This is what's got me thinking about this. And maybe it really is just kind of becoming activated. But I do think this work is important. I also think it's important that you have a support system. These are things that can become really sensitive. It can also make you feel destabilized. It's very much like doing trauma work. Often these things are tied to trauma. Okay? So if you have a counselor, a therapist, support people in your life, these are things that you should be talking about. And if not, with somebody directly writing about them. Okay? And checking in. You don't have to tell people exactly what's going on, but making sure that you choose a couple people in your life that you're going to talk to on a normal basis. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. You might think, my family would be freaked out if I said, hey, I want to check in with you. Well, you know what? Sometimes we just have to do that. I've had strangers in my life often. I mean, I'm in recovery, so that it's maybe seems a little different, but really it doesn't. I don't even bat an eyelash when somebody says to me, I need to check in once a day with you. I need you to message me if I don't message you by whatever time. That seems totally reasonable to me, and there are a lot of people out there, I think, that would be that way. So if you have that in your life, I think that is something it's an easy, more casual way of just making sure that things are okay with this path that you are on. Now with this fire dancer, I just think that is so beautiful because I think through all of this, there is, a sense of being held, being shown almost like the ancient ways, right? Being given and gifted old knowledge, but there's also a sense of medicine here. There's a sense of your loved ones, of your ancestors, those who look out for you, your guardian angels, really saying, this is, this is a way for you. This is going to help open you up in a lot of ways. Where you have had some blockages, maybe creatively, emotionally, psychically, romantically, or in your relationships, having trouble connecting with other people. A lot of times it's tied to these places where we haven't been able to really look at, some of the difficult things that. And it's not always even like an event, some traumatic thing that has happened. And maybe, trauma is relative, okay? I mentioned earlier about bullying somebody. Well, even if you have been somebody who has been bullied and you thought, oh, it was just normal, that's what happens, kids are like that. Well, I didn't get it that bad. That can still really affect how you perceive yourself, especially from a young age. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with looking at that and realizing, hey, that really affected how I spoke to myself. My internal dialogue, for, it could be many years of your life, was really affected by how people talked to me, how they treated me. And these are the kinds of things, sometimes they start to come up and they come out of nowhere. Sometimes, you're like 58 years old and you're like, this kid, they really hurt my feelings. They made my life really hard for these years. And I believed what they said about me, and it really changed how I lived my life. It changed my ability to trust people, changed my ability to open up to people, and I think we just live in a culture where it's like, oh, well, that wasn't that big of a deal, get over it. Well, no. Look at the state of things. We don't need to just get over things anymore. I think we do the work. We do the work, and we sit with that child within us, that's been through a lot. And, where other people would not listen or help us, we have to be that for ourselves. And, you might be listening to this and thinking that sounds silly and tedious, but I promise you, nobody is going to show you the love, empathy, and kindness that you need any more than yourself. Maybe your mother, maybe your father, or somebody who, loves you unconditionally, but there are many of us here who didn't have that. So we had to be it for ourselves. We had to activate those archetypes for ourselves. Be the all-mother. Be the all-father. Be the grandmother. Be the sky. That's okay. That's okay. You're not alone in that. All right. Let's take a look. What do we have down here? Oh, we have a deer. A most sacred deer. And listen, I picked the deer today too in my own personal reading. So the deer must be quite important. I also just watched a movie that had somebody with deer antlers that was actually pretty visually just stunning movie, but also difficult movie. It was called, what is it called? Saltburn, I think. It just came out on the internet, on the TV internets. Yeah, very good movie. But the sacred deer, yes. This is that stag, that beautiful energy of the woods, that most divine wilderness deity. And so when we are confronted with this energy, we know something very sacred is happening, and we choose. How will we interact with the divine? Will we be courageous? Will we be calm, accepting, loving, approachable? Are we going to run away? Sometimes I get that. I understand. I say, hey, I'm out of here. This seems a little too much for me right now. But when we see the sacred deer, we know. We know the visions are here. We know that energy. If you've ever been out in the woods, if you've ever been out there walking, hiking, looking at flowers, whatever you do out there, and everything falls silent, and suddenly the energy feels different. What is going on? What is it? And you yourself, you fall silent and you listen. What is that? I don't know. What's coming for you? I don't know. But will you face it? That's up to you. We also have a little heart here. And there is that abundance of love. I feel that this is really a time of self-love. I see this in a lot of my readings right now. There just really is this outpouring of taking care of self, spending time, evolving self. Really, really, really just there's a clarity, a cutting clarity to the priority of this cycle, of honoring this cycle, of honoring your place in this cycle. All right, let's take a look. We have the Happier Me affirmation cards. And let's see what we have going on there. Okay, and I'm going to flip through. And we're going to stop. Oh, already I see the word. It says, I am evolving every day, and I am patient with my growth. Each day brings new experiences. With each new experience, you grow inevitably. Maybe you're not where you want to be yet, but as babies, we learn how to walk. You also have to do it gradually. Be kind to yourself during this process. Yes. I love it when they totally match the tone of the reading. I like when they're kind of different too, because I'm like, oh yeah, and then we'll just talk about this for a minute. Add on to it. But I love when they punctuate what we already have been talking about. Hello, T. You gonna come bless us? Oh, nope. No buns on camera, please. Oh, hello. All right, let's say goodbye to these nice people. So, Pisces, I want to say thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such a pleasure and an honor and a privilege to be able to do these readings, bring you these messages. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. If you would like to leave a comment, please do. I love reading them. I love hearing from you. If they're not nice, I'm going to delete them. And I'm just going to be transparent about that. I don't like that. Let's keep it civil here. Now, if it's challenging, then yes, okay, we'll leave it. But if it's just mean, no, thank you. But I feel like I've gotten to know so many people through this channel, and we've been doing this channel for a year now, and it's brought a lot of wonderful people into my life, and that's really the biggest blessing of this whole thing, and I appreciate that. I truly do. So anyways, please be safe during this time. We are coming up on the new year. I know people are being festive and celebrating and, all kinds of stuff going on. So just, please drive safely. Keep your wits about you. Be aware of what's going on around. And yeah, take care of one another. That's the big thing, too. Take care of each other. All right. I love you. We will talk soon. I'll see you later.